This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you supporting us at patreon.com/AwesomeCast. here. Hi there. Hello there, video people. Been a while since we did that one. So we are here. We're talking about some case situation. Thankfully, there's been a lot of visuals for you. So we'll fix it in post. Anyways, back to the beginning of the show. 18 minutes into it. No, I think that's a really good thing. So check that out. That is the you had that marked as the Spigen Ultra Hybrid MagFit compatible. I love these like super wordy search term Amazon deals that we do on here, but I understand why they're there. But it's really hard to be like, this is this thing.
Pretty much.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. Anyways, And where we at? Sorry, I got thrown off by that. So this is my pipe dream. These smart glasses are always the biggest thing for me, right? And this is concept. This is not coming out anytime soon, but I believe this was The Verge had a great breakdown with these Intel glasses, and these are going to be going to developers very soon to kind of figure things out. So this is exciting. No, that's you. There. So there's the idea of what it looks like if you're on video. So to see that little bit of red text that happens there. So the idea is they have a little bit of it is a laser of a sort, but it actually broadcasts into the back of your eyeball on some pretty good thin glasses. And the idea is if you're looking straight, you're not going to see this text. But if you look down, you're going to start seeing this text in the corner of your vision. And it's supposed to be simple text, or directions or something like that. It's a low, they said it's like the lowest laser. It's not going to affect anything. And again, it's just kind of bouncing that on the back of your, eyeball. So you don't even see it on the glasses itself. It's not something reflected on. Like you can kind of see things when it was like that little prism screen thing with like a Google Glass, right? Like it's pretty wild. And they actually, you're obviously... It's fun for them to try to present that, right. Because you don't know until you have it. It's like VR. You don't know until you have them on. Like this seems like the thing, that seamless idea. Obviously, this is something that's going to have to connect with like a Bluetooth smartphone, and I don't know, probably have to have an app to translate messages or something like that. That's my only kind of question mark with that, is how compatible is this going to be. But even if this is like the glasses version of the Pebble, because I love the Pebble because it gave me that power of my text messages. It gave me the thing that I missed about Google Glass, was I don't have to pull my phone out of my pocket to get the messages, right? That was the biggest thing. And it was super limited, and eventually you could sort of kind of reply to things. And then, of course, the iPhone can to a greater extent. But that idea on your face that it does that, and they're talking about some AI implications. So if you're looking at a restaurant, you see a Yelp, like this is the thing where you walk around and see, you look at a restaurant and you see a Yelp score, like stuff like that, that meta information in your day-to-day life, but also something light, not something that's going to be let me know every time I got a like on Instagram, right? That's the thing. That's the thing I've been fighting a lot lately is, do I really need this notification? And I think a lot of people are now too. And that is something big that they are thinking about there on that, with this thing. So
and honestly, I could see this for directions too.
Oh, that's one of the big things they show off is the directions.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I see that runs kind of against them is, and the concept's great, but in terms of the fact, instead of being in front of your face versus having to look down at your wrist. What is this giving me other than a watch would give me? Like you said, like either a Pebble or an Apple Watch or something else.
The one big thing they tell you is like you could be talking to someone, the information could pop up and they wouldn't even know you're looking at it.
Right.
Like that's one thing. And that's it. It's the hands-freeness. It's the, think about, for me, I talked about a couple of weeks ago, the idea, and then also I discovered there's an Apple Watch for like, all trails. I'm out there for a hike. I want hands-free so I can help navigate and balance myself and not keep looking down at my phone to see if I'm on the path. That's the kind of thing I want in my face. for sure. And even a watch, like, no, I love it. I love if it's just there and there's an arrow pointing in the right direction, or it tells me that I'm off trail or something like that. Like that's a killer feature for me. In my current let's say life state right now. That like that kind of thing, or the directions, or you're driving and the directions are down there. There is like, one big killer feature for me. A lot of times when I'm doing show setup, I miss everybody's messages, right? Because I'm involved in the thing. And then I realized this last one, I started putting my AirPods in my ears, because the AirPods will give you notifications, right?
Okay.
So now I am getting the messages for my videographers are driving in from New York City and Pittsburgh respectively. My wife that's at the hotel figuring out if she needs to grab me any supplies for anything, or / dinner probably, because I won't feed myself before a show. It's a notorious problem with me. Are the people from the video streamer trying to get a hold of me, right, through WhatsApp? Now I get those notifications. Is the promoter trying to get at me for something? Is my video company guy trying to get at me for something? Is somebody trying to get at me from the other gigs, which we did miss when they were trying to hook something up and I didn't hear it? Those kinds of things. And I didn't have the thing in my ears when we were doing that. And plus, connection problems, but in the room we were working in. But like that is now a thing. Like if I'm doing a day setup on an MMA pay-per-view or a wrestling pay-per-view or something, AirPods go in the ear. Like one goes in the ear to just have, like, I need to know what's going on. But then I also need to make sure Instagram isn't telling me on 5 different accounts, hey, so-and-so's on Instagram. It's like, no, fuck off, Wrong show, I'm sorry. But so that's the biggest thing for me. But now if that becomes up here, then that becomes, one, easier to dismiss and not a thing screaming in my ear that I got to like on my reel. Right. Like that contextual kind of situation, that you need it, that, you need a notification sometimes, and you need to be hands-free, for something. That's it. And I'm sure there's 100 things you could do. They talk about cooking and you have the recipe pop up, hey G, I want to give me the recipe for this, and now it starts popping up here instead of them saying it. It's there in front of you, right? And there is a little bit of, I don't think there's like the tap thing that we had with the Google Glass. It looks like a little nod kind of thing to dismiss. So I think that's it. Is there a chance for this with the contact lenses? I know somebody's working on it. Ooh. It's like I don't need corrective lenses, but there will be people that prefer contacts than glasses. Yes. Yeah. Agreed. And I think this is relatively, because there's 2 things that needs to happen with this. One, obviously, it looks like you can put your lenses in, but the lenses have nothing to do with what's going on because it's not reflecting off the lens. But you will need to align your pupil distance. Like they show alignment in the video situation, so make sure it goes back into the right spot. You know what I mean?
So it definitely does not look like you can just grab them from the store and wear them.
No, it looks like you wait,
because you need to have it, like you said, like if you're getting glasses, they have to sit there, they have to put the alignment thing on you, and the whole thing.
Somebody's working on the contacts. We know that there's been some
contacts are so much harder though, because external power source. The distance changes and putting it in and out, and the fact of contacts tearing so much harder and everything else.
I think maybe it's like kind of lens, like you're gonna have to wear something for this method to work. For instance, we look at the viewfinder and I'm going to try to grab one actually before I go to Arizona, because I want to use one in the field and see if it actually helps. But it's like a Google Glass thing. It can clip on my glasses, and I got a little video screen here, and ideally I'll be able to see the video screen of what we're shooting, because it's so hard. I honestly, when we're shooting like an outdoor event, we're kind of shooting with a wing and a prayer, because I'm not putting my head in the viewfinder when there's cars or planes flying around, right? So, but it, and we do very well with it, to be honest. You see the videos, I just turned in the Baja video preview today. We'll see that in a couple of days. But I want to have more control of that, and I want to see if this thing is going to work in a very inhospitable. But my point of that is it can go on the glasses, or you wear this headband to wear it, so that so our staff that does not have glasses can still wear it. So you still need to put the mechanism right here on your face. I'm sure there's some other. You're going to wear frames, just like Google Glass was this frames that could go over. Your glasses, or you didn't have glasses or something like that. Like I think that's just where we're at right now.
And I think that the holy grail is contact lenses.
Oh, absolutely.
And I would say that,
but there's
and
so
somehow combining
much.
it. Oh yeah, or combining that with health data with contact lenses. I know they are working on that as hard as they can. So I don't think it's a matter of lack of want. I think it's just a matter of technology, especially the battery technology.
Yeah, we're not
technology.
There yet. We're not there yet.
We're not. Yeah. As much as we want to think, we just like I said, that's what everyone's pushing towards.
So that is the I'm sorry, the name escapes me at the moment. Let me go back to my notes, because I realized I don't think I actually said the name of it. It's the Intel smart glasses, but it is specifically called the Intel Vaunt smart glasses. If you want to look up more information, and again, that video is on the the Verge's YouTube page if you want to see more of it. Hey, you know what technology we have perfected? The technology of our friends with the perfect pepperoni pieces. Support podcasting in Pittsburgh. Slice on Broadway, New York City style. Yins are made right here up the street here in Beachview, as well as in Carnegie, the East End, and the North Hills. Support our good friends that have been supporting the AwesomeCast for well over a decade over there. Check them out, sliceonbroadway.com. Let's see what else. Oh, man. Squirrel with a gun. We had the cat game Stray came out a few weeks ago, and then I saw this thing, and I'm like, wow, this is a fun little CG thing they did. No, this is a video game in the works. I don't believe it has a release date yet. I believe you can wish list it over on Steam, but hey, look, there's a squirrel. Hey, look, buddy, how you doing? You look cute, you little squirrel there. What's going on? I'm going to take a picture of you. Oh my God, he has a handgun. And he's holding up and chasing this human. It feels like a bit of a I guess he's carrying
the phone.
Yeah, he's carrying a cell phone now. He's oh boy. Yes. Oh, I'm in a loop. Yeah. It looks like it's kind of one of those sandbox games, like if you've ever played Goat Simulator.
I've never played it, but I've seen it. I've seen it. Yes. It's
on. If you have Apple Arcade, I believe they do have it on there now. So I recommend. My friend here agrees. So it's wacky. It's weird. And sometimes if you have the right expansion, you can be a zombie goat. So it's recommended. So go check it out. I love the first comment on this is, damn, gaming really is dead.
Yeah. Which honestly, it doesn't shock me. There's going to be negative comments, because honestly, it is a stupid little game.
It's a stupid little game, and I kind of love it.
Yeah, I mean, and it isn't that, and this is minor rant with me, but when you have people saying, "Oh, this isn't this level or enough. This is the downfall because of look how stupid this is," like, dude, okay. If this game isn't for you, keep scrolling.
You're like me with the wrestling thing. I'm like, who the hell are you to have judgment on X kind of thing?
Well,
like, what have you done in X? Are you a video game developer? Are you a booker? Are you that's
now I'll say this,
kind of my thing lately.
All of them turn this way. Okay, you have a complaint, but this is one indie game coming out.
Yeah. This is a wacky little indie game. Somebody had a wacky idea, they put it out there, and God bless them, they can do it. That's exactly. The world we live in. We can put any
crappy,
messed. No, it looks great. But that's not hard if you know the tools. You can. I mean, it's just art assets. You know what I mean with Unreal and things like that.
We all remember a couple years ago from Flappy Bird. That or want to go back even further, the original Angry Birds.
Come a long way. On the lighter, speaking of throwbacks, apparently Doom and Quake are being cleaned up on the stores for you. Apparently, this my brother My brother, who of course owns all the classic games, said, "Oh, good, my Ultimate Doom is now next to my other Doom games, even though alphabetically." Yeah, they're like kind of kind of conjoining all of them apparently on the Steam and the other stores that they're on. So like Quake 2 now has all the final. I'm sorry, Doom 2 has all the final Doom and extra packs. Are kind of seeing you're kind of seeing that if you have Quake on the Xbox Game Pass, like they're putting all the expansion packs into the game, right? Doom 3 has all the expansion. Like I downloaded, I'm like, oh crap, here's the expansion pack I never played. Then I'm like, oh right, this is the game that I play in the dark with a flashlight. I'm out. Because I think I got a mod, so the flashlight didn't. So because the problem with Doom 3, it's such a good game, but the problem was maddening is you can have a gun or a flashlight. You can't have both. So then I downloaded a mod on my PC that made sure there was a flashlight on the gun.
Yeah,
and then at a certain point, you could make the flashlight any shape you wanted it. So I made it the logo face from our westernpajuggalos.com site. I love mods. I love mods. No, this is and this is also being cleaned up for newcomers in time for QuakeCon. I'd love to see Quake 2 and 3 over on Xbox myself, but I guess they are still on the PC. Unfortunately, my quote-unquote good gaming PC was my MacBook that just bit the dust. And the new
one that is not.
Yes. And of course, the new ones don't have Intel support for Windows. So I need to buy a gaming PC. Dave, I need to somehow justify buying a gaming PC, but you have an attachment.
I do. Yes.
Dave, there's a tribble on your shoulder. Well, it keeps blurring his face, so it just looks like a tribble.
Yeah, that's true. You can only see her
this is getting weird, dude. This is getting wow, this is getting real weird. Anyways,
she's just a little clingy. That's all.
It's a little clingy and gone. And gone. You know what's great? So your background actually popped in, and I got to tell you, it looks fake. It doesn't look real on your video.
Oh no, this is fake.
I'm like, why?
This isn't my kitchen. No.
Why did you just go to a random kitchen as your background? That's very weird choice to make there. So, but it's the way it popped in. It just looked fake as all hell. Oh, jeez. What else is in here? I think one of these stories was probably yours, and I forgot to tag it. So if anything looks familiar, let me know before we run out of time here. So let's see where. Yeah, we got plenty of time. Actually,
I think the only one that I came with was the budding astronomer.
Oh yeah, there it is. I see you.
Yep.
All right, tell me about this.
So basically, this is one of the great things with public financing of research and not private financing, because if it's privately financed, the information's kind of owned by whoever's financing and they have control. Well, all the space telescopes, at least the ones that we're in control of per se, they're publicly financed, so by law they have to give all their information out for free. So if you're interested to see not only the final images from Hubble, from Webb, from any of the telescopes, they're available to download. It's that simple. You just go to the website and download them. You don't have to get approval. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to go through any gatekeeper to download them. They're just available. But if you want to look at the data, and start combing through the data for, let's say, your own research project, you can download the data. You can just download the raw data and work on it. Now, if you want time to run for a particular, star that you're looking at, that's something different. But on the site, they actually have hey, if you're a scientist, here's how you request time to run, and here's the procedure, and here's what you need to do, and it gives you all that information there. So that's kind of, to me, if you have a kid who's in high school or just starting college, you're like, okay, you want to get involved in research. Here's an example of how to write a proposal to actually do work.
Right.
It's like, so you have to say, you can't just say, hey, I got something neat I want to do. Can I do it? No, here's the long, that's something that in Baja and Formula and aero design, that's something they learn is it's a lot of writing.
Mm-hmm.
Engineering is some of the building the neat stuff that goes, but then you also have to write a paper saying, why do you build this neat stuff that goes? And what's it going to do if you build it?
You kind of need to justify the project, right?
Exactly.
And the process too. So,
and you have to justify to non-engineers, and people aren't exactly as thrilled about it as
the people with the money are not engineers.
Not always. No.
Yes. So we get to go see the exciting part of it when we go to these events. But yeah, it's really interesting. So, but anyway, so what are we seeing out of the James Webb Telescope here?
Oh,
that's available.
Well, they just released today, and this is something it's you can see, like, for the public, and they have. But if you go a little further down, you have the press releases, but then you also have way down below, you have the listing of the user programs and proposal preparation training and data analyst training, and the toolbox is available.
Mm-hmm.
So, when people say, you hear some people like, oh, they're doing all this, what am I getting out of it? Hey, guess what? Boom.
Is it?
Here's all the data.
Do your own research.
Yeah.
As they say.
They're not hiding anything here.
Mm-mm.
They're literally not hiding anything. It's all here. And like I said, one thing they just released today, if you remember the deep field, the very first image from around a month ago,
mm-hmm.
That was the size of a grain at your arm's length, and you saw all these galaxies in there.
Mm-hmm.
They just released another deep field, so they're going to do multiple deep fields. That's around 4 times the size, and if you look at it,
is this the the Cartwheel Galaxy situation from the second?
See, you know what? Let me see here.
I
mean, I literally just saw it. Really? No. There's literally, it was just today. So that wasn't it. That was actually from like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
This thing's just putting out information left and right. It is really amazing. And the thing is, people were, before it was launched, because it took so long for it to get launched, people were saying, okay, here's your instrument, here's what we want to do with it. So there was a long line of, here's everything we're going to do with it once it launches is in place. So they were ready to go, and they, once it got there, it was like, okay, boom, we are ready. Here's what we're going to do in the first year or so, because we only have 10 years before this thing runs out of steam. Here's the first year. This is what we're going to do. Boom, 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 boom. So that's why all this stuff's coming out so quickly. Like, okay, and something new is coming out, and something new is coming out, and something new is coming out. But this one was, like I said, I just saw it on TikTok. One person I follow on TikTok who is an astronomer, and it's, like I said, it's basically 4 of the same sides of those images. And it was an image near the Big Dipper, and it was, again, one of these deep field images they did, and just like the other one, completely filled with galaxies, completely filled. So, and one of the galaxies they estimated to be around only 300 million years after the Big Bang. So we're talking one of the early, again, they're, because of the way it's viewing infrared light, where it's a lot easier to pick up, so it's not blocked like infrared, like visible light, which is what Hubble looked at. Since you're using infrared, it's not blocked, and that wavelength tends to get through a lot better. So they're seeing a lot of these really old galaxies. So like the early, because even, and the way it was explained, that I heard it explained, was if you go much further back in time, the universe is too hot because it's too soon to the Big Bang. So there's a limit of what we can do. That's a physical limit. There's only so much you can go back in time, in terms of seeing galaxies. So, but, it's just the fact that when people say, oh, what are you doing with this? Okay, well, it's like, here's your answer. Whether you agree with it or not, that's something completely different, I'll admit. But it's like, and like I said, the fact that they have training for data, like I said, the webinars on how to do data analysts.
So this is so if you are a space nerd,
Yeah.
if you are a young space nerd, you have everything at your fingertips to dig in and become, well on your path of understanding this stuff, working with this data, because that's what we're doing. This is data analytics. It's not, it's not quite as exciting as For All Mankind, where it's just a bunch of people riding rockets into space, right? I know, I know For All Mankind is much deeper than that, but still, like, even that is the more exciting side of this, right? So, like, but you could really dig in, like, so this is hopefully, obviously, like, this and our SpaceX's and all the other things going on in space are definitely, pardon the pun, reigniting, interest in space, which means young people are
exactly
going to start getting into this, and we're our future engineers and scientists that are going to push this thing and us into space. It's just so open, and it's incredible right now. Just the opportunity, and that's a beautiful thing about the internet, is the opportunity that opens up for things like this.
And I heard another podcast. I'm trying to remember, and I'm sorry, I'm confusing the two right now, either between My History Can Beat Up Your Politics or Professor Buzzkill. I think it was My History Can Beat Up Your Politics.
That's a great title of a show. What the hell?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's great because it says, let's look at history, and here's all the political stuff that happened. Let's get behind, and let's compare it to what's the political stuff happening now.
Okay.
But one thing they talked about was, and like I said, because I've listened to a couple of their both of those episodes. I like both of them, so I don't want to shortchange anyone. Saying how,
let's just presume it's Patreon supporter Professor Buzzkill.
Yes, that's why I want to be. That's why I make sure. But that when Sputnik launched, that it was actually My History Can Be Up Your Politics. It was about the student loan program, where you saw the huge expansion of people going to college because of Sputnik. Because the thought was, wait a minute, we couldn't do this. The Russians did it. We mustn't have enough people in college who could do that.
Yep.
So therefore, we're going to open up college, and we're going to have funding for college. And that's why, but it's, it's that kind of shock to the system.
Yep, and that's the whole idea For All Mankind, is the Russians beat us, so we keep pushing the space program, right? And it becomes like the Cold War basically extends into space for decades after it ended in space for us. And I think that's a very interesting thing, because we're talking about the political shock to the system and technology. Didn't that just happen, right? Because they passed that CHIPS Act, which we don't, and I try not to get too deep into in the weeds on those kinds of things on this show. That's not what this show's about, but I think this is a really interesting topic. We just, they're throwing a lot of money at one, chip fabs coming to America instead of being over in other countries where we obviously have had some problems with that over the last couple of years, right?
Right.
Want to be, and I think that's been the big thing is, America needs to be controlling of the resources in its own destiny, because that's when stupid things happen in the world. And
I would say not only that, but for so long, let's say mid 80s on, everyone was so enamored, and I understand why, with just-in-time production.
Oh, absolutely.
Where, we're only holding, because I know it's how Dell made a lot of its money. That was the revolution.
That's
that
all
Dell
Apple.
did.
That's all Apple, right?
Yeah.
Like
now,
Tim Cook
I would
is
say now.
Well, yeah, Tim Cook was the one that made that happen. He is a genius at that stuff. That's his wheelhouse. That's his expertise, and he transformed the company around it.
But the reason why Dell got big in the 90s was they were able to do the same thing with their inventory. Only have 10 days of inventory, 5 days of inventory on stock of the parts. Well, that's great if there's no disruption.
Yes, it's a perfect environment.
Right, which happened, if you think about it, 70s, 80s, 90s. There was the biggest disruption in those whole decades there was, if you want to consider it, was the Gulf War,
Yeah.
and that was a horrible thing.
Yeah.
But in terms of global supply chain, not a big disruption.
No.
So, and then we had, 9/11 happen, and a whole bunch of stuff happened.
To roll around to the point that we were talking about,
Right.
but also along with that, the fab thing was there's a lot of money that's being pushed into the developers and the education of engineers to continue to improve our fabs and our chip making and the technology, because the whole thing is like, and the argument has been, guys, we invented this stuff and we let it go. We let them take over. I don't want to get us them.
Well, no,
I don't want to get geopolitical here, but it is geopolitics.
When it's still a matter of stretching your supply chain.
Yes, absolutely.
And anytime you physically stretch your supply chain, or your supply chain is 3 or 4 levels deep,
or the talent isn't here anymore because it's gone to the other countries. I mean, my uncle worked for Procter and Gamble, and I know towards the end of his career, he spent a lot of time in China. Right? Because that's where the manufacturing was, because it's a race to the bottom on the money, plus the just in time, and it's, and that's a matter of where those things are. And now, I think, smartly we're looking at bringing that back in, that aspect of it. Like, let's bring in, like, now that we've chased away a lot of the smart people from other countries, we need to build some people up here. So,
and that's not quick either. But
no, it's not. This is a long tail thing, isn't it? So
now the one thing, before I go too far back, with the new deep space image, the person I found it's a astrophysics PhD student on TikTok.
Okay.
It's called her thing is let's see here, filled ELE space. She goes by Skylar. I think that's her name, even though I get it, Skylar, astrophysicist. But she is an astrophysicist PhD, which it's kind of neat to see. Also, not only does she give you the astrophysics news, like, oh, this just came out or this happened, she also says, here's a day in the life of a PhD astrophysics student.
Can you tell me the name of that account again?
Sure. It is FILLED ELESPACE.
I see it. Filled space. There you go.
Yep.
And I think this is the one that we're talking about here, right?
Yep, that's it.
All right.
And that's her giving about the latest news on the upper left, where the JWST deep field there. But like I said, the neat thing is she also gives you like behind the scenes. So you're like, oh, what does a graduate student, what does an astronaut, astronomy, astrophysicist do day to day? And you find out a lot of it is looking at code and running code and finding out your code's not working. Why isn't your code working? And then talking to your advisor and having other people look at your code and taking code off of like GitHub and or the equivalent of GitHub and trying to incorporate it into your models and see if it works. And, so that's kind of neat also, because a lot of people you don't see that. You think you have mental images in your head of what people are doing, but you never know.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of like, hey, here's a real person doing real work.
I like it. I love these explainer videos on TikTok. As Katie educated me on, is like, you can learn a lot from TikTok. So, excellent. Hey, quick shout. I put a tweet out yesterday because I've had this in the back of my head for a while, and I've been trying to figure out how to get started with it. I've wanted to learn Spanish for a long, long time, partly because it's all around. Whoa, there's a dog. Partly because it's all around me here in my neighborhood, and and my neighbors are fantastic, but not all of them are first language English speakers, so I'd like to bridge the gap a little bit, and then I also actually, when I was going for a walk yesterday, I had an encounter with a deaf person that was having some issues, and I realized like the gap that's there, right? So I want to learn ASL as well. So I saw some recommendations. I think Amanda has some recommendations, and Janelle out there on Twitter were giving some recommendations for things. Duolingo, I did start Duolingo yesterday. I got my message. I didn't do my lesson for today though. So, but I'm going to play with that a little bit and see where I can get with it. I really wish I took Spanish in high school at the very least. French was just not worthwhile. And it also didn't end well. So, so if anyone has any recommendations for that, or I'll let you know how my Duolingo journey has been going. I was amazed at how gamified it was. Like, it's pretty incredible.
No, it is.
And
it is. And points and gems and the fact you can buy gems, or
that's the freemium model. That's it,
exactly,
right? Yes.
Exactly. Or you can go for the pay for subscription, and you get the Duolingo Plus, and you can go without having to worry about that. And
there was a get more gems to watch an ad kind of thing, and I was like, I don't know about this, but they haven't offered me like to pay for anything other than like gems. I think they said I could.
Well, eventually you'll get the thing, because I've been using Duolingo since the beginning of the year for Spanish, just trying to, because it's been high school. Early high school since I took Spanish, so we're talking 35 years.
Right.
So yeah, I remember some of it.
Do I need to add you as my friend on here? Is that what's going to happen?
You can.
I'm Sorgatron if you want to look for me. Add friends. Yeah, once look in your contact. I don't want to do that stuff.
No.
I don't want to.
I would say never do that.
I'm trying to avoid that. Here, take all my phone numbers thing. And even the Facebook connection gets a little weird for me. So, I got a lot of gems. Anyways, we'll put that aside.
That'll be continuing.
Walmart Plus gets Paramount Plus. I was excited about this. I'm like, that's one less thing I have to pay for, because Missy got Walmart Plus a little bit ago to try to get. I hate using Walmart Plus because they send everything FedEx, and FedEx is dog poo in delivering things. So I don't use it. But it's nice that it's there, I guess. I think we get some perks and stuff. I don't know. She has some stuff she gets out of it, and it links to her card and everything. They apparently got a deal with Paramount Plus. I was excited for this. I'm like, one less thing I had to pay for. Just like Instacart. I have a year of Instacart through Amazon Prime now, so I canceled my Instacart Plus and just re-linked it through the Amazon account, and which I use it a lot. Or not Instacart. Was it Instacart? Or was it Grubhub? Grubhub was the one.
Okay.
I believe Grubhub. I don't know. One of those. I don't freaking know. I think it's Grubhub, actually. So I'm like, I use Grubhub a lot, especially with the traveling and everything. It comes in really, really handy. When I'm like, I don't know where I am and I don't know where food is, bring it to me.
And better than going with the hotel food, which is always, I want to pay $30 for a hamburger?
Hotel food. You think I have hotels with evening food? What do you think I'm staying, man? I'm at the Holiday Inn Express. What the hell? They do put me up in Hilton by the airport in Seattle, and very thankful that somebody else picked up the bill. I'm like, this is where we're eating? This is the prices? This is it? Okay. It's how we roll on the West Coast. I get it. Okay. I will budget accordingly next time. So. But no, but it is going to be, it's going to be the ad supported version of it. So if you're moving from one to the other, and you're like, that's the deal. It's like, okay,
but it's no additional cost.
No additional cost. But Potter, I freaking hate ads. I freaking hate ads. You have no idea. Mondays now and Wednesdays, I watch some live programming we talk about on the other podcast with ads, and it is the most maddening experience of all time for me. Like, I just can't. It's the only thing where I get to experience what commercials are. When somebody's like, haven't you seen the commercial with such and such? It's like, no. I pay a lot of money to not see ads. Okay? I pay probably an excessive amount of money to not see ads because I don't want it. Don't want it at all. So even just knowing that Duolingo has a no ads thing, I might just, I don't even care. I have been, Dave, I've been really, I don't know if it's irresponsible, but I have done so many yearly subscriptions on my Apple account lately. I'm just like, screw it, we're doing this. Like, especially with the fitness thing. I was like, my fitness pal, we're just freaking doing this. Katie told me about All Trails, and she's like, yeah, maybe I can share the account. I was like, no, I'm paying for it. I'm like, no, we're going all in. I don't give a crap. I have this drive weather that lets me know if it's going to snow on the way to my gig and if I should leave earlier. That was $10 a year. I pay for the AccuWeather thing.
That's not
and
too
then
bad.
they had another thing they're bugging me for a thing. And I'm like, but I paid for you already, and I don't understand what the Premium Plus gets me. It's like insights on weather and ad-free experience. I'm like, I already have an ad-free experience. What are you talking about? What did I pay you for? Why do I got to pay you another $20 a year for? You all right over there? Welcome to Sorgatron's cast.
Yeah. You know what? They are nickel-niming you.
Yeah.
They are nickel-niming you.
AccuWeather sure as hell is. Yeah. Everybody else is fine. But this, you subscribed for premium, but then it won't tell me what I was getting from premium, and then it tells me premium plus, AccuWeather alerts. No, you alert me too much to crap that doesn't apply to me. There's rainstorms coming across the Midwest. I live in Pittsburgh and it's sunny. F you.
Yeah. I understand. No. I mean, and honestly, that's the little warnings you get, and this is one of the reasons. This is not an app related, but this is kind of Facebook related.
Mm-hmm.
And you see like a local news station put up, shocking news, and it's something like a car accident that happened in Iowa. Now,
you know what? I can say this because I only have.
I don't care. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
Got hurt, but I don't care about them.
Like,
You're local news.
Listen, there's not a lot of there's not enough overnight house fires here in Pittsburgh, so we're going to tell you about the ones in Iowa. You know what I mean? Like that's where it is. It's because that's like the home. It's a hey, as our friend Jim Ellermeyer over at Fishing Without Bait podcast over at sorgatronmedia.com says, free prescription, eat fruits, nuts, and vegetables. Turn off your television, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That was the important part I wanted to get across. No, if you are consuming, when I walk into somebody's house and all they have is the news channel on, whether it be the local news, whether it be the cable news, and that's what they have on through the evening, through dinner, through stuff like that, I'm like, I know why you're miserable. I know why you're miserable and complaining about everything, because the TV tells you, because the TV tells you everything sucks, and this is my problem when people are like, Twitter is such a cesspool, and it's like, well, Twitter is the cable news program that you can program. There was a really, what was I listening to the other day? They were just like, they were like, I think it was on Twit, and then somebody was talking about, the dude lives in Hawaii, so he's so aloha. And, like, listen, if you're like, why am I getting all this BS in my feed, especially on Facebook, right? And it was like, are you commenting on the things you don't like? Are you reacting to the things you don't like? Are you liking and commenting on the things you do like? Because if you're doing it all on the negative stuff, it's going to keep shoveling negative stuff because that's what you react to. Remember that. Like, it reacts to you. You can reprogram Facebook for you. It's there to help you.
That's true for all social media.
Yes.
Because I know people I follow on TikTok, and they react to, let's say, a negative comment someone's made.
Yes.
Like, oh, you're stupid. Like, well, first of all, thank you for commenting, because you commented, that boosts my numbers.
Yes.
Thank you.
Like,
so,
the guy that keeps putting Bible verses in my TikTok comments.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, well, thank you because that'll boost us up. That gives us, and that means it thinks you want to see more of it, so you're going to even see more of me. And that is something to think about, And I want to rage sometimes. There's some really stupid stuff I want to see that I want to rage against.
Yeah.
And occasionally I do on Twitter.
You do not.
But I know the algorithm.
You do not need to accept the invitation to the argument party.
No.
Yes, I'm just paraphrasing Fishing Without Bait now, but anyways.
No, and like you said, it's the same thing that you said about, and to kind of bring a little wrestling into this and social media, if you don't like something, like if you don't like what someone's saying on, let's say, TikTok or Twitter, and it's not directly impacting you or someone in your family, there's a block button, there's a mute button on Facebook.
How much stuff I've been unfollowing people because there's something I don't like to see in my feed that has it's a very personal thing that I don't like to see in my feed, of somebody I used to have to work with. And I do not want them in my life. I do not want, you know, and some people share the thing because they're still involved in the thing. And I have unfollowed so many people because I'm like, you know, between that or just, I don't like the energy that you bring to my feed. And I'm here to escape and catch up with things. And if it's just this, and this, and you complaining about your day every day, you're going to mute and probably an unfollow.
Yeah.
You know, thank you for the unfollow, but not unfriend. So people are like, why aren't we friends on Facebook? That's kind of nice. Because there's a lot of people
especially if they're family and they have to get a hold of you just in case something happens with the family.
Yeah, but you're still there. Like, it's not like you're you know, completely blocked them off. Now, the people that block me off, that I've blocked off, are people that have been incessant, and I have warned them, and then they're gone. And I think there's 2 people I blocked. Probably. But anyways. Well, on that note, this is kind of the rant cast, and we do need to wrap up here. But anyways. Dave, thank you so much for popping on.
Glad to be here.
Talking sciencey science with us and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you can find me on the Twitter and the Instagram, even though everyone hates Instagram right now, as ProfPod, and on TikTok as ProfPod PGH.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm at Sorgatron on the Twitter. We'll be here next week, and I'm sure the audio will work on the live video next time. It happens. Yeah, I just missed something we were setting up. But anyways, thank you so much. We'll see you guys next time. You've been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.